What is up, everybody? Welcome to the feast, episode 90. Hey, why is that not working? Off to a great start here. How about that? Okay. Yeah, now it works. I just had to click off it and click back. It ruined my mojo right at the start. How's it going, everybody? Last time I saw y'all was the 21 Rooms grand finale of Season 4 of the Gentlemen's Tournaments. And I got a couple announcements at the top of the show. So if you haven't seen in the Discord, there's the pre-tournament for the next season of the Gentlemen's Tournaments, the 21 Generals. It's basically a leader nomination tournament. So this tournament is split up into 3 factions that are all going to get assigned. I think it's going to be like a mix of people deciding which teams they want to be on and a mix of moving people around for balance. But there's 3 faction leaders. One of them is going to be James, the winner of Season 4. Spoiler alert. And then the other 2 we're going to determine on next Saturday and Sunday. One of those streams is going to be here on ToothAndTailTV. The other one will be on Witty Pun 7, aka Big Pimpintosh. I'm not sure which one we're doing quite yet. But both of us are playing in it. Both of us will be casting it, hanging out, probably both days. So if you're interested in signing up for the pre-tournament or just signing up for the 21 Generals in general, go to the Discord. It's the same. If you've been in the Gentlemen's Tournaments before, it's that same Discord. If not, head down underneath the stream you're watching right now, and there's some links under the Tooth and Tail events channels. What's up, Woody Pun? Good to see you, man. But in other news, I've been getting the itch to cast again, so I think I'm going to commit to a weekly schedule again. Nothing crazy just yet, but I like doing Friday nights. It seems to work pretty well for me, so the feast is back on schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing Friday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST, and I'm hyped for it. This can't be done, however, without audience participation, so don't be shy. Send me replays to ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com, and we will keep making shows. What else we got? Oh, yeah, so the 21 general rules are pretty in-depth. So I was just chatting with the gentleman, and I think what we're going to do is next Thursday night, him and I are going to have a Discord call and just kind of go through the rules, and I'm hoping that it'll, like, explain things better for the participants and kind of be like a tutorial or a reference for anyone who wants to get involved in the tournament. Don't be shy about signing up for that either. I think we're shooting for at least 18 participants, maybe more, but the more the merrier, as always. What else we got? So yeah, so in recap, the Gentlemen's 21 Generals is coming up very soon. We're doing tournaments next weekend. Determine who faction leaders are. Next Thursday night, Gentleman and I are going to hang out and just kind of talk about the rules and talk about the tournament, try to explain it to everybody. And also, I am doing weekly streams again. I want to do Friday nights for a couple hours with you guys and gals out there. So I'm hyped for that. So we've actually got like so much Tooth and Tail content on the horizon. We got the feast tonight, and then next Thursday, we're explaining the general's rules, and then we'll have the feast Friday night, and then Saturday we have a tournament, and then Sunday we have a tournament. And you can sign up for both tournaments, too, for next weekend. So don't be shy, guys. And again, the only way I can commit to doing the replay show every week is if I get replays from you lovely viewers. So what's up, this guy in chat? Yeah, man, weekly streams again. I miss y'all. I miss casting and playing Tooth and Tail. I got on the ladder a little bit earlier and had a blast. It's a really fun game. So, without further ado, I got some good matches lined up for tonight, and I've got enough ammo over the past month or so to do next week's show, so I'm happy about that. That doesn't mean slack off on sending me replays, though. Okay, alright. Anyways, let's start it off the classic way with a little bit of fence in for Spratmo. Spawning in the bottom left is Vincent. And their opponent up top, we've got Bratmo. Man, I love Vincent's deck. Like, I almost interrupted myself during the intro to just point out how much I love Vincent's deck. Because it is just so crazy. Look at this. We got Lizard, Toad, Ferret, Owl, Mine, Artillery. I want to see all these units get used. Both players have Artillery. Oh, man. Oh, man, I'm hyped. If I don't see at least one Artillery cannon this game, I'm going to be very, very disappointed. But Vincent and Bratmo, both pretty evenly matched players, like to skirmish each other every now and then and shoot me some replays, so I have no idea how this game is going to go. Also, there's no squirrels at all. Man, this replay just keeps getting better and better the more I look at it. We've got Pigeon Mole from Bratmo in the tier 1 slot. And yeah, so a little bit of quick lizards here from Vincent, but getting scouted immediately by Bratmo. Let's see how he decides to respond. Ooh, okay, yeah, he's just going to build those moles. And moles actually do really well against lizards, so if this works out, I mean, Vincent's going up to 9 lizards before 8 farms, so that's a pretty big blow to the economy there. As long as Bratmo holds, it doesn't take very much damage, he's going to be in a really, really good spot moving forward this game. Oh, Tasha's got a load of replays. Good, man. Yeah, send them my way. Give me some ammo. Yeah, I've got the itch. I got the itch to make some TNT content again. I don't want to get crazy. I just want to commit to one night for now, but I might just pop on some like ranked streams and stuff like that as well. You know, throughout the week, unannounced. But I do want to commit to a schedule again. But just starting small. Starting small. One night a week. It's not too bad. All right, Falcon's coming up. I don't think Bratmo saw that mine, otherwise he would have cleared it off with his moles. And yeah, Vincent didn't even go in with that engagement there. Just kind of has the lizards on the map, which is kind of cool to get a little bit of map control, I suppose. But Vincent's economy was pretty delayed from doing so. However, once a few more minutes pass, that difference is not going to matter so much when both main bases get mined out. Nice little snipe there from Vincent, grabbing that Warren. That always helps. So he's getting a little bit of value. I think he only lost like 1 lizard for that too, which is really good. Let's see how my sound levels are. Are the sound levels okay? I think the game might be a bit loud, but there we go. Okay. Oh, there's the artillery cannon. Oh, Vincent. I was wondering why he was taking that gristmill. A little bit of an engagement here in the middle. These moles doing great with the healing against these lizards, but eventually the lizards begin winning the fight. However, the reinforcing falcons are going to push Vincent away, but Bratmo has no idea about that artillery cannon. I mean, I know artillery cannon has crazy long range, but I'm not sure if it's that much range. It's definitely going to need vision for sure. Bratmo moving forward now, going to deny this expansion right outside of Vincent's main base. Is he going to keep his falcons alive is a question. One gets very low. It does eventually go down. Keeping this other falcon alive, though, would be a nice little pickup here from Bratmo. He's going to push the issue. This artillery cannon's done, but it can't shoot anything. I think if it had vision, maybe it hits something there, but it might be slightly too far away. I'm curious, like, I think that hits that pig, right? In that tier 2 Warren, if it has vision, I think. Vincent, is he gonna run in with the lizards, being backed up by the cannon? This is some old school pile style, essentially, and man, look at that range. What am I talking about? I was, it hit way over here. I was doubting if it was gonna hit the closer targets, and now Bratmo knows what's up. He moves his units over, but the falcons get caught by the lizards. Nice play there by Vincent. Those falcons really needed the moles on the front to buffer for them, and without any kind of ground protection, those lizards just make mincemeat out of those air units, and that's probably too much damage. It looks like we'll be heading into replay number 2 here shortly. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so the proxy arty cannon did work well for Vincent there. Almost too well. Like, Bratmo losing all those falcons was pretty rough stuff. Moles just walk up to the cannon and stand in front of it, TnT AI. Pretty much. Maybe he didn't rally it, like, right on the cannon? I'm not sure. Okay. Alright, match number 2. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom, we've got Arlo. And up top, the Gentleman. Arlo, one of our finalists for Season 4, 21 Rooms tournament. And Gentleman, of course, the organizer of that event. Gentleman looks like he's playing around with some toads here. Otherwise, the deck looks very, very strong. I'm curious how the toads work out. I think, I could be wrong. Maybe some of you guys in chat who have been more active recently can correct me. But I feel like the toads are really good against moles at the moment. They're definitely good against lizards. So maybe the Gentleman's picking up the toads just kind of as a I think both players maybe did that. You know, like, hey, I'm going to grab toads to deal with my opponent's moles. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Oh, the wolf coins. Oh, man, I need to set up betting again. Not tonight. Not tonight. I do need to get my wife, the Thunder Squid's help a little bit on setting my alerts back up and getting the bot working and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I can automate bets a little bit easier because the betting is fun. All right, really big map here. Let's see. Both decks look strong. Of course, the Gentleman grabbing that owl. No tier 3 from Araloo, but I'm fine with that. I think all of his tier 2 choices there are really strong. Nice natural here for Araloo. This map looks a little awkward for the Gentleman, but if he can kind of draw his battle lines like here, it won't be too bad. You know, he can capture a lot of the map. But I'm actually kind of curious if Gentleman decides to go with this maybe safer base over the corner or grabs this one. I think grabbing this one makes more sense, and as I say that, the Gentleman, of course, grabs the other one. Well, that one's safer, but it's one of those... I don't think there's a right answer in this kind of situation, because if you grab this one, you know, it's going to be harder to defend. It's going to be on the front lines, but if you can pull it off, then you've got this back base for free, essentially. So... the Snake does a really good job of dealing with these cabins cost effectively. And both players just kind of macroing up for the moment. Let's see how they've been doing on scouting. Gentleman has not seen the tier 2 yet of his opponent. Meanwhile, Araloo is coming in now. Already seen the tier 2. Actually, he's already really seen everything. Araloo knows what's up. Just wants to check that second base. See what kind of saturation is going on there. Gentleman just following up. I was thinking about this today a little bit while I was playing. I like this type of opening here, where you're pretty greedy with your economy, because you can't be greedy in too many different ways, right? So the Gentleman's being a little greedy with his economy, but he's making up for that with just getting a whole bunch of squirrels to be safe. But once he goes over to his opponent's base and scouts and sees, hey, they're also being greedy with economy, and they have a tier 2, Gentleman decides to sell off a couple of those squirrels and go to the tier 2. I think that was really smart. That's a good way to approach like an economic opening, because you don't want to mess around and try to build these slow, expensive tier 2 units if you're about to get all in. You know, if your opponent sees, hey, you took a second base and a half almost, and I'm just going to come in and all in you or something. You need to take either toads or moles. If you don't take one, you lose to the other. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe the toads do well against moles, and that's why these players decided to go with them. I've been using moles recently, but I like the idea of going toads as well. I actually had a lot of really fun ladder games with James today, and we were just playing different compositions and stuff. It was really fun. All right, tier 3 on the way for the Gentleman, as well as a fully saturated second base, but Araloo wants to get aggressive here. Moving forward, let's see these toad connections. One of them goes off on the Warren. That's not good for Araloo. The Gentleman kept his toads back until Araloo's toads were exhausted there. Gets some good connects, but the skunk gas is just tearing the Gentleman's army apart. And Araloo's still got plenty of forces left. All these pigeons really helping keep this army sustained on the front line. Araloo pushing forward, starting to do some real damage to the Gentleman here. And these pigeons really doing a good job of keeping this army nice and healthy. Just stand in the water for a second. Oh no, they're back in their own territory now anyways. That owl investment hurts for the Gentleman. can't afford really. He's not going to get 180 food to build it, but at the same time, it's hard for him to even like move his commander over there to sell it off. And the owl eventually does get bought and paid for, but that's 360 food that is not in the gentleman's army. However, maybe if he can hold this attack off and buy a little bit of time, he can start coming back into this game with that owl. He has lost a lot of warrants, but he didn't take too much economic damage. Like, these farms were kind of on their way out anyways, and the second base is completely untouched. And keep in mind that the gentleman not only has a fully saturated second base, but Aralow does not. I thought he grabbed that campfire as well, but I guess not. Gentleman on the counter aggression. This looks good for him. I wonder what happened there to Aralow. They're in such a good lead. I guess they did the classic Tooth and Tail overextension. It's so easy to do in Tooth and Tail, which is really rough because you gotta, it's not unheard of to like come back in this game, so you need to really, once you sense like I can end it, you do need to try to end the game when you have the advantage. So that makes it really easy to overextend. And now the owl's coming in here, the gentleman's coming in here with this owl army. Got some toads for the front. Aralow trying to get in position, but that water is slowing down all his units. However, the gentleman is backing up. There's no more mice here. The owl taking some hits, but gonna stay alive. And a lot of the gentleman's forces are getting deleted. However, so is Aralow here. Well, actually, Aralow still looks pretty good, so. Huh. It was about an even trade. But who's got the better economy? It looks like they're toe-to-toe now. The problem, though, is over time, the gentleman should just be getting crazy value with this owl, like moving these mice forward, sending him in. He actually doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to sit there and poke and prod with these mice, because he needs them for the front line when he makes this big push. Gonna move in with this tier 2, try to get a little poking before the battle starts, and here's the big engagement. Some really good toe connections there. Gentleman gonna retreat out of the gas, but he definitely won that engagement. Let's see if Aralow can think of something. This is looking a bit rough. Gentleman's got the momentum back, looking for a third base here. And I think at this point, this should be the gentleman's game. I think maybe if in one or two of those fights, Aralow could have sniped that owl, but Aralow doesn't have snakes. Do have the falcons, which are nice, but you really need the snakes to be able to knock out that tier 3 unit very easily. And another battle very in the favor of the gentleman. And he's not in a hurry to end the game. He wants to just kind of come in, win a good trade, rinse and repeat, get more ahead. Doesn't want to take the risk of overextending and having this game shift back into Aralow's direction. Gentleman moves forward again, and this is probably going to be the nail in the coffin here for Aralow. Nice fight. I think Aralow was in a phenomenal position to win this one, but just overextended with that main attack there. You can see on the graph, right, around the 5-minute mark. If Aralow maybe would have backed out there, but I don't really even blame them for that because it's such a hard decision to make. If you got that chance to end the game, you certainly do want to take it. So very cool. All right, let me see. I'll do announcements. I think I'll do a mid-show announcement. So let's get through 6 replays before I make you guys drone through me announcing everything again. All right, match number 3. Okay, in the bottom, we got a 2v2 here. In the bottom, we've got this guy, Jed Erickson. And their opponents up top, Heartseed and Big Pimpintosh. Sweet. Pretty decent map. These Gristmills are a little bit far forward, but not too bad. Heartseed could take that if they want to be more safe, and Tosh could take this one. But these 3 Gristmills, well, really these 2 Gristmills kind of stand out to me here. Because those are going to be rough. I mean, yellow and blue have a nice second base, so I guess what's cool, the moral of the story here is that every player has relatively decent access to a second base, which is always nice in a 2v2. But this 2v2 is not going to go on for very long. Look how short this map is for this. I mean, this would be tiny in a 1v1 scenario. Imagine it's just red versus blue here. I mean, that's still a tiny map. This is a 2v2. I wonder if this is with random map settings or if they actually, like, set it to small map mode. So these third bases, I guess, for either team are kind of up in the air, right in the middle. They're probably too contestable to really be taken, and with such a short map, I doubt we're even going to get to 3 bases. I would be really surprised if this game went on more than 7 or 8 minutes, but we'll find out. Nothing crazy yet. Everybody went for 8 farm openers, which is actually more of a note than normal. You might say, yeah, Delthius, most people go for 8 farm openers most of the time, but in 2v2 it is a little different. The 5 farm doubles and little variations thereof are a bit more effective because if both teammates do a 5 farm double, that can really just eliminate someone for an 8 farm opening. Or you can do things like have one player do it and the other player, you know, macro up behind it. So there's a lot more variation in like the early game, I feel like, in 2v2 than there is in 1v1. Not to say you can't do pre-8 farm openings in 1v1. You can, and you certainly should mix it in every now and then. Okay, so nothing super crazy yet. Jet Erickson rocking those ferrets. He's going to want to start microing those as soon as possible, start trying to get some value out of that ferret unit. And got a nice variety of units split all over these teams here. A nice cavalcade, if you will, or a menagerie. You know, why have I never used the term menagerie? Menagerie is like perfect for this because they're all animals. Man. Episode 90, and I just thought of to start using the word menagerie. Alright, Heartseed also with the ferrets, so this could kind of start getting pretty cool. These ferrets are going to put a clock on the opponent. You know, Jet Erickson is just going to start sieging up, and if you don't respect the ferrets, if you don't contest them, then he's just going to start shooting down your warrens. So this is either going to force an attack, or force at least micro dance out of his opponents. Looks like red and green are moving forward. Yellow's also in position to defend here. So many toads from Jet Erickson. Actually going to blow up on his opponent's toads and their lizards. So very well done by Jet right there. Yellow and blue moving forward to contest green's main base. A lot of skunk gas going down. Red has almost got their tier 2 out. The falcon is here. Or I'm sorry, the ferrets. And these toads from Heartseed could get some miracle connections. Lots and lots of skunks here from Big Pimpatosh, but the healers are on the way. He does have pigeons, but he doesn't quite have enough yet. And this siege from Jet is starting to get very stressful here for his opponents. Look at this skunk war going off on the bottom and like the ferret war on the top. What is even happening? Heartseed's army trading out okay there, but losing the ferret is kind of rough. Green is kind of pushing back, but Yellow's pushing forward. I think Green's about to get sandwiched, though, and lose most of his units. So much skunk gas everywhere. This is absolutely crazy. This is what I expected on this tiny map. Alright, red trying to move in. Yellow and blue have been doing a great job of staying together, I feel like. Alright, this guy pushing forward with the skunks, trying to lay down some more of that juicy gas here. Meanwhile, Heartseed's trying to come over to the side and flank Jet, maybe try to get some good toe connections. Jet picks up that ferret on the retreat, though. This is rough for Heartseed here. Everybody's still on 1 base economies. Jet did take a second, but hasn't been able to put any farms on it yet. And with this much carnage, you know, who's got time? Who's got the money to throw down a farm? You're constantly spending on reinforcing the armies here. Yellow and blue starting to push in. Now the skunk gas from this guy is starting to hit Tosh's pigs. The pigs go down, but Tosh snuck out a badger. I didn't even realize it, so I'm assuming his opponents didn't realize it either. Alright, Tosh. Let's see if he's got the power of God and anime on his side here. Gotta micro this badger like your life depends on it. It's got plenty of pigeons to back it up. This onslaught from Yellow and Blue and these proxy warrens, too. It's absolutely crazy. Alright, Tosh coming in, trying to get some value with this badger. His army is literally badger pigeon at this point, which is going well. Like, there's no super hard counter to this badger here. There's nothing quick like a lizard or a fox. There's no poison. So this badger is starting to go to work. A lot of the pigeons are starting to fall off, though, which is a good way. Actually, there is poison. What am I talking about? Who's got poison? Am I crazy? I just saw poison stacks. Maybe Jet had some snakes or something. Anyways. Red and green are actually pushing back now, though. The Badger went down for Tosh, but it got so much value that Heartseed reinforcing with these juicy tier 2 units and constantly keeping that barrage of lizards and toads coming in. And now the tables have turned. Now Heartseed is starting to siege on his opponent's base. Very smartly backs up, though. Don't want to overextend there. Tosh did manage to get out a farm over here as well. Sold off that Badger, so not looking to get another one. And Jet is almost starved out. This guy is almost starved out. They are running out of steam here. Heartseed is on one base as well, so he's going to kick into the starvation timer at a similar point. Jet did manage to get up a farm, but Tosh is the only one with an economy, and it's not even anything to write home about. It's 2 farms. Yeah, this guy, as long as you start a gristmill when you have at least 20 seconds on the clock, you're okay. Nice pickups here from Jet. These very, very valuable pigs going down. And everybody's on a starvation timer now besides Jet, who's got 1 farm that's building. There's no income. Income is 0 for every player right now. Every unit is so crucial. Here's some more snakes coming up from Tosh. Gristmill goes down for this guy, putting him back on starvation. It looks like he was able to reset that timer, though, before it went down. And he's moving. They're moving in on Jet. These tier 2 getting a lot of value from Heartseed, but Heartseed's about to starve out. Oh, man. Heartseed's got 3 seconds. He knows it. He's just trying to get every shot down for his teammate Tosh here, who's on a 17-second clock. But's only got a snake and a couple pigeons and a dream. He still has this gristmill over there. He could run home and play. Oh, no, but he has no money. Oh, man. What a close game, but it looks like... Oh, yeah, he tried to wait till the last second, but it was cute because he didn't actually have the 60 food. So really action-packed one there with Jet Erickson and this guy taking the match. All right. Let's keep things moving. On to match number 4. All right, spawning in the right, we've got Citron. His opponent to the left, Augustavams. I just call him Augusta for short. Me Gusta. I'm that old. I remember the Me Gusta meme. I guess it wasn't that long ago. Was that like 7 years ago? I don't know. Both players with board here. And nothing super crazy about the decks. You know, Augusta only running the squirrel plus the pigeons. Typically we see an additional tier 1 there like the mole or a toad or something, but it's not mandatory. Chameleons are a lot of fun and pretty strong, so are snakes, so I think decks look fine here. And the map is weird. This is a weird map. It looks, I guess, like, it's going to be hard to attack into Augusta's main base. But on the flip side, it's a little bit awkward for really any player to expand here. Maybe I like this better for Augusta because you can just take this 9 o'clock base and not be super worried about it. I mean, it would take so long for Citron to walk all the way over there. And it's pretty close to your main. Oh, and I really like this mine too, just as a ward basically. Like once that mine goes off, he knows trouble is heading towards his expansion. And that was even a gristmill before tier 1 Warren, so very greedy opening coming in from Augusta. And meanwhile, Citron is just powering up for the moment, gets that skunk down. And tier 2 on the way as well for Augusta. So Augusta opened pretty greedily and didn't get punished for it. So he's got to be happy about that. Gonna come over here, probably just throw down a single farm. Maybe 2. Gonna wait for the second one. Yep. And Citron looks to be powering up for a 1-base timing. No sign of an expansion just yet. I wonder where he's going to expand. Like, this would be safer. You know, I actually... Maybe this map is better for Citron, right? Because he's essentially got, like, all 4 of these bases right here, which is nice. Especially if he's going to be bold and take this Gristmill up front. That really also solidifies his territory, makes these much, much easier to get to. So maybe if I'm Citron, I'm okay with this going into a late game. But there's been no... I don't think that's Citron's plan. Like, Citron hasn't taken a Gristmill just yet, and looks to be building a lot of tier 1, so this is definitely a sharp timing attack here. Now that Gristmill goes down, so he may or may not actually commit to this, but he'd like to get some damage in here, because Agusa has been sitting pretty with these 2 extra farms for a little bit of time now. Chameleon's almost up here. Yeah, sells it out. That's what I thought. I could smell the 1 base all in from Citron here. Here come the moles. And now Agusa must know what's coming. He's got the chameleons, which are going to help out a lot in this engagement. Setting down a minefield, and Citron sees these mines as well, so knows to be careful about that. And let's see the fight. You know, this moat, as long as Agusa's in position, is going to make it a little bit hard for Citron to march in. But at the same time, if Citron sets up in this water, like, that water will be healing, which is very good. And Agusa with the immediate retreat, gonna take a lot of damage from that as Citron pushes in. These skunks setting up a decent amount of gas. And keep in mind, Citron is just full throttle units right now, where Agusa did invest a little bit into economy. The chameleons come out on the front lines, but there are so many tier 1 here, and this just looks like a very straightforward victory here for Citron. Nice squirrel mole skunk push. These are very deadly pushes that if you're not quite 100% prepared for, it can really just bop you out of a game. But he pulls back for now. Gonna let his units heal up a little bit. Not overextend. Gonna spend a little bit of that money. Grabs that Gristmill. I feel like Citron could just walk in there at this point, but, you know, it's easy to say that when we can see everything. Does Citron even know about that base? He's kind of... Yeah, no, he does not. All right. He's got a decent angle here. Coming through the water, moving in. These chameleons targeting down these skunks. Gonna get one of them, but the damage has already been done as the moles smash down onto the Gristmill. Only a few squirrels remaining here. These reinforcements from Agusa cleaning up a little bit, but the skunk is still going strong, tanking a lot of damage. And he's gonna try to get away with that skunk, but the target fire from Agusa says no. Does pull back, but that was so much damage. So much damage here that I think Citron's just fine with rinsing and repeating and pushing in for one more wave to end this game. Now, he still isn't aware of the second base, but there's not a crazy amount of farms over there. So it's hard for me to get hyped thinking that might be a comeback mechanic for Agusa. But maybe if he takes a good engagement, I think he needs to wait for that other chameleon here. Wants to get his units in a good position. Probably trying to move up top here and bait Citron into some mine hits. I think this is smart. You know, get this high ground vision. This is going to force the attack from Citron. Ooh, gets that mine before it finishes. But this other chameleon's going to make it over here. More mines coming up. Agusa is a madman, queuing up some more farbs. Agusa's like, hold my beer, I got this. If this works, that is awesome. Mad props to Agusa. And now this economic differential is really starting to matter. This is the last army that Citron can really put together effectively. Nice mine hit. Deals a good amount of splash damage to most units. Gets them in that daze for a moment, but there's still just so much here for Citron. One of those chameleons going down. But this is still not the end of the world for Agusa. Like, Agusa just needs time. But as I say that, Citron has started to farm up his second base, so not gonna YOLO one base it to the end. And Agusa's not that far ahead in economy. The big attack comes in. Citron saying, get off this map. Let's see if it works. A chameleon coming in, gonna knock out the skunk. Ooh, the skunk stays alive. One skunk went down. That's 2 HP on that skunk. Oh man, that's so rough. Just a few squirrels here. We're down to scraps. But picking off these pigs is absolutely enormous. The skunk does eventually go down. This is crazy. I guess you just sell your tier 2 here, in my opinion, if you're either of these players. I think both players should sell their tier 2s. Try to get like 9 more squirrels together or something. But they're gonna keep the tier 2. One chameleon, well, in Augusta's case, one chameleon's already here, the other one's on the way, and the chameleons do really shine in these low units. But he is starving now. He needs to wait for that second chameleon and maybe just try to shove in. Citron's actually got the better economy. Augusta moving out a little bit too early, in my opinion. But this one chameleon is just getting so much work done. As long as it gets a lot, it gets away, yeah, that's fine. Augusta's starving, but got 60 food. 60 food, 3 squirrels, 2 chameleons, and a dream here. Yeah, both players trying to get that tier 2 back up. Citron's afforded 1 skunk, but with this low econ, that other skunk is going to be supply blocked for a long time as these squirrels are going to nom that resource up. All right. Let's see what happens here. I like the chameleons in this. I feel like maybe there's not enough units for those skunks to really get their full value. Augusta trying to just snipe a pig is gonna get it and re-stealth with these chameleons. That is brutal. Citron thinking about counterattacking in. And these chameleons are gonna heal up very quickly. That skunk taking that mine is actually really good for Citron. He didn't lose a unit to it. Man, this game, I love games like this where it just devolves down to such tiny economies. But it can get kind of stalematey, right? Because it's this situation where both players are very timid. You know, this is it. Like, there's going to be one more fight. And I'm starting to like this better for Citron. That's a lot of squirrels. If he can get those chameleons out of the fight very quickly, maybe he's got a chance here. Ooh, Metal Gear Solid chameleons here. And try to sneak in and get some Warrens or something. But the ramps here are really awkward. I think Augusta might have been better just coming in like that. But then you're getting really out of position. Oh, I missed a little bit of action there. One chameleon goes down for a couple squirrels. But he did get the farm, which is huge. So what's Citron going to do? 50 seconds. Is he going to try to go for the throat? Going to catch these squirrels. That's a nice start. But he needs to remember to get home in time to like sell off a squirrel warren and get another pig going. Meanwhile, Augusta is gonna go for the base trade with just one chameleon. He's got to knock out 2 gristmills with 1 chameleon. Doesn't have enough money to start another one. And it looks like Citron is gonna take this one. Yeah, that gristmill is definitely gonna go down first. So very scrappy, crazy back and forth game. Really cool to watch. Nice victory there from Citron. Okay. Let's head into game number 5. Spawning in the left, we've got Tower. And his opponent to the right, Protocam. Protocam. I love this deck. This deck is amazing. Like, 2 defense, 2 tier 3, no squirrels. You're speaking my language. Meanwhile, Tower's got something that looks solid, you know? Squirrel Mole for the early game can get into that Badger. I feel like with Tower's deck, you really want to get into that Badger quick. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised to see him going for like one base badger kind of strategies, and then you just have that falcon for the late game, which is really cool. I like decks that have like tell a very specific tale, you know, like the mines can help with defense or with scouting and that kind of thing, you know, if you want. Like, to me, this just feels like a one base tier 3 rushing deck, but I could be wrong. Seems like you just want to blap your opponent with that badger. Meanwhile, Protocam with a little bit of an early Lizard Warren here, going to try to get something done. One Lizard can be nice if you hit the right angle. Actually, I must have missed something. Yeah, I missed a little bit of damage that already happened here. I apologize. It looks like he went in for a pig and didn't get it. I was too busy talking about these wonderful deck choices here. All right. So far so good. Nothing super crazy. You can say Tower's probably got a bit of a better spot. You know, Protocam lost the Lizard, didn't get anything done for that. Also delayed his economy just a bit. A couple mines here, and lots of turrets here for Proto. So again, I wonder what Protocam wants to do. I guess he's kind of hoping your opponent's going to scout in, see these turrets, leave him alone, and then he can just macro up, you know, get really, really greedy on the second base. I feel like if you're, like, it's okay to build turrets, but if you're going to make that commitment to the defense, then you gotta pay for it somehow, and I think greed on an additional base is a good way to do that. So he's buckled up nice and tight here from a lot of different attack angles. And I would love to see Protocam, after he's invested in these turrets, just build a lot of farms, especially since Tower is also kind of macroing up, also building mines, and gonna readjust the positioning on some of these mines. But no, Protocam actually wants to be safe from counter aggression while he runs around the map with a handful of lizards. Tower is actually the one being hyper greedy, so I'm actually liking this position for Tower much better at the moment. Look at Protocam. Protocam's not worried about the here and now. He's worried about the 3 minutes into the future, when he's going to have this artillery cannon, where he's going to have 3 bases up and running, and he's just going to start making boars and badgers. Has Tower seen the artillery? He's about to, probably. Oop, there it is, okay. So if I'm Tower, I'd probably just go straight into badger here. It is going to be rough for Tower to get another base. Like, he's got the cabin down here. He's also got this gristmill in the 6 o'clock. He's got another cabin over to the side. This 6 o'clock gristmill is a bit rough, but especially with having these mines to alarm him, he can probably defend it okay, you know, get his units over there in time from any sort of aggression. Tower's got a lot of food here. Is he going to go for double badger? Oh, going to rock some falcons. Lots and lots of falcons. 8 falcons here. Meanwhile, Protocam does get up to that 2 base full saturation. And just go crazy. Dude, Protocam is playing tower defense here, man. He wants to be untouchable. So many arties. Oh, dude, this game is bananas. All right. Just grabbing that cabin. Maybe we might fast forward this one a little bit. Tower's trying to determine where he wants a third base. Yeah, getting all these falcons makes sense, seeing the artillery, but I don't think he's even really seen the other artillery. He's just seen the one. But he's going to be happy that he invested into 12 falcons once he sees that there's 3 artillery cannon on the board for Protocam. And Proto, it is time, sir. Make those tier 3 units. Let's go. Let's see it. Here it is. Boar number 1 and Badger. Gonna boar Badger, little B&B. Meanwhile, Protocam's not in position. Tower moves forward, grabs a turret, no big deal. And yeah, Tower decides he wants this third base right here. It's not gonna really happen with that artillery cannon though. But gonna pierce through these turrets, knock out that artillery cannon. That's so many falcons. That's more falcons than Protocam has lizards. Protocam needs to buy a little bit more time. Man, I don't know though. Like, the boar is not gonna help out against the falcons, and Badger is, of course, a great unit, but this amount of Falcons could probably DPS that thing down, like, really, really fast. The tower is pushing it very hard, losing a lot of these Falcons in the process, but getting some serious damage done. There's an entire third base just gone, on top of all the defense. Alright, Boar and Badger have been bought and paid for, but Protocam has nothing. He's got defense and a couple tier 3 that aren't out yet, and that's it. Reinforcing Falcons. This is smart by Tower, to be honest. You know, all these Falcons to try to deal with this. I'd like to see some moles to maybe tank a little bit of these turrets, because this is starting to become a crazy amount of turrets. Has Tower seen what's happening? Has not seen the tier 3 just yet. But this isn't really what Protocam wanted to do, I don't think. I think Protocam wanted to boast this hefty 3-base economy and ramp up like several tier 3. But he's going to have 2. And they're starting to become some ground units here for Tower, so this Boar is not going to be negligible. And he's getting that pigeon count up. Yeah, once you get Falcons in that kind of number, whew. Let's see what this Badger can do. Maybe he can pounce as the Falcons move in to try to take out this defense, but he's not quite in the right position. He is going to move forward, but that Badger kind of pathed around the long way, which gave these Falcons ample time to retreat. Another thing that makes Falcons so good here is, like, this terrain is really awkward for ground units, right? Like, you have to wiggle through this tiny spot. The water obviously slows you down. Tower's even bringing the mines in here. This is a fun game. I really like Protocam's deck and, like, approach to this game. I think it's kind of cool and creative and fun. And I also think Tower's done a really good job of, like, reading what his opponent's up to and coming up with the correct response. And here we go. The Boar is just kind of up front to tank, and the Badger is getting into the midst here, but it's hard for Tower to get a target fire down on this Badger because there's so much else there as well. But finally, the rest of the Badger forces melt away, and that Falcon deletes the Badger, and Protocam taps out. Really cool game. Yeah, Boar can tank for Badger theoretically. I didn't even think about that, Tosh, but Protocam did try it. All right. We'll do match number 6, and then I'll do some announcements, and I'll do a very quick bathroom break, and we will keep moving along. The Falcons, when they get to that number, are insane. In the bottom left, we've got Blue Coon, and his opponent to the right, James. But I like that, to be honest. Like, I'm glad that there is a tier 2 that, like, scales well. You know, is not that great when you only have, like, 1 or 2 of them compared to other tier 2s. But it's like, hey, you can go into a late game investment with this. And I also like that the Falcon can give strategies like Blue Coon's deck, for example, a little more reach. Like, you know, Blue Coon's deck seems to me like a mid-range, like bruiser, beat 'em up, kind of win on 2 to 3 bases, you know, around 7, 8, 9 minutes in kind of thing. But hey, if it goes longer, then he can always just start racking up those Falcons. Meanwhile, I gotta give James the deck award this time as far as which one I personally like better, because he's running that Fox and Snake and Balloon and fun units like that. However, he's also doing a 5-farm double this game, but Blue Coon scouted it out very early. Those mines actually did a good job helping out there. And he defends it well. And this is rough for James. This gives Blue Coon a slight lead here in the early game, as he did get that farm out before his opponent. And this is always risky, selling off a Warren to try to get the farm back. He did keep 1 Warren, so I'm okay with that. But like when I used to do 4 or 5 farm double rushes a lot, that's kind of the knee-jerk reaction is, okay, after the rush, sell off the Warrens, get your economy going. But then that leaves you open to a little timing window from your opponent. However, James only sold off 1 Warren. I think that's reasonable. Bit risky, but not crazy. And Blue Coon is saying, hey, man, if you want to play Lizards, I got the Toads. Let's go. And starting to rack up a nice little tier 1 army. I like Squirrel Lizard versus Squirrel Toad, especially in like high level hands, you know. Like, because you can actually, the squirrel lizard player can actually win it. If they don't go crazy, like, let's say your opponent makes like 6 or 9 toads, but you only make 3 or 6 lizards, you can trade that out more effectively. You can also kind of pull your lizards back until the toads detonate, but oh man, that toad hit was right on the face. Blue Coon could not ask for a better toad hit than that right there. And blasting through, I feel like he won that trade very nicely and ends up with a Warren to boot. Man, that was one of the best toad hits I've seen in a while. Oof. And Blue Coon gonna follow this up with a Chameleon. Really smart play. He does go ahead and grab that Gristmill because he has seen that James took one of his own, but I think Blue Coon is really more concerned about getting this Chameleon up because Chameleons just do a great job in these small, scrappy situations, especially against lizards. James going for the Falcon, though, over the snakes, which is a little bit surprising to me. But maybe he thinks he can give the Falcon a good enough front line where it can sit back and get a lot of damage done. These 2 lizards gotta try to come in and make it happen. Throw a couple spears and run away. So how have the players been doing on scouting? Okay, James does know about the tier 2, does not know about the second base. Blue Coon knows about the second base and the tier 2. Alright, so I feel like Blue here is just waiting for that second Chameleon, and then he's going to go for it. Even building these Warrens right here against the edge of the territory. Try to get that reinforcement distance as small as possible. And again, right now, Blue Coon's got the favor, in my opinion. I think, you know, we've only really had that one engagement, but he won that engagement, and then he also got the better opening because James tried to rush and Blue Coon sniffed it out. Let's see how these Falcons deal. You know, on the defense here, this Gristmill tanking is definitely a thing, especially if these toads, like, accidentally run into the Gristmill. And yeah, Blue Coon's going to decide to not risk it and just come home. Sees the Falcons, says, you've got the Falcons out, you've got a lot of things that can soak damage. I think I'm good. And here we go, James with the Fox. Ooh, but the Chameleon, the sneaky Chameleon attack. Is he going to see the tier 3 and go for it? Oh no, he didn't want to make it obvious. Oh, but if he loses commander here, that's horrible for him. Alright, gets out. He does get a Warren, and he did get a tier 3 off that. And seeing that Fox Warren is going to trigger him to move out, doesn't want to sit around and wait for James to get that big tier 3 unit on the board. Some good toe connections there. These Falcons doing a lot of damage in the sky. These Chameleons soaking up so much. Blue Coon's not even going to bother to micro him back. I don't think it was really necessary here. And yeah, you know, that's good. That's good for James, I think. Like, they kind of traded out. You know, James did lose the battle, but he's about to have a Fox. Well, he's kind of... okay, I was going to say, I don't think he should go that hard on the counter, but he just wanted to... Is he going to sell the Fox? Yeah, aw, man. Ruined my fun. I was hoping maybe he'd sell a couple other units to try to go for the Fox, but that's actually the correct play, what James just did there, because he would need 50 seconds to get that Fox out, which Blue Coon is just not going to give him. Blue Coon's already ready to rock and roll again. Gonna come in. He's gonna try to use these lizards to soak up those toads. The big engagement happens. A lot of units getting traded here. One Falcon's still in the air for James, and he's gonna hold. And this looks like the start of a James comeback, maybe. He does have the better economy. He did better in that fight. Well, the economies are pretty similar because James's farms are about to die off. Like, both players have 3 pigs left on that second base. Like, the only reason, 3 pigs on the second base. The only reason this farm is still here for James and not for Blue Coon is because he took it a little bit later because of that rush opening. Okay. A little bit of lull. I like this from Blue Coon. You know, when things get really scrappy, it's hard to go wrong with just a crazy amount of squirrels. You know, downgrade back to the Stone Ages here. just rely on a lot of tier 1 units. Squirrels are fantastic. James doesn't have anything like skunks to just really punish, having a ton of squirrels on the map. James coming around, trying to get some value out of these lizards. Gonna take a couple mine hits, but I guess that was a little better for Blue Coon because 3 lizards died for 2 mines. But he is gonna pick up the Warren, which is nice. Just trying to make something happen with these lizards here. And Blue Coon actually decides to go back into chameleons. 18 squirrels seems to be enough, and James is just going to continue to wreak havoc with these swift units here. Running in, getting whatever value he can in between the fights. That's really good play. And it looks like Blue Coon just wants to hang out, get a couple more chameleons and try again, but these 4 falcons from James should be able to DPS down those chameleons pretty quickly with some good target fire. Nice little bit of mine cleanup there, 1 for 1. It's the best you can ask for. Ooh, a little bit greedy with that falcon harassment, and definitely pays for it. 1 falcon going down for nothing. And Blue Coon decides this is my moment to move out. These toads moving in. A couple of those toads actually detonated on the squirrels, which was huge. I think James really wanted all those toads to go off on the lizards since he doesn't have too many lizards at the moment. This is looking good for Blue Coon. I don't think James has enough to defend this. Let's find out. That falcon in the air doing a good job. But actually with the reinforcements, yeah, James is going to hold here. And Blue Coon's going to go home again. Is he going to sell off the chameleons? Yeah, oh, a little bit of a mistake here from James, I think, holding on to both those falcon warrens. He's going to have to come home and sell one of those, yeah. And I like the, well, you know, I think if James gets a little bit of time, you know, I think his comp is going to be better here, because just straight squirrels, you know, 15 tier 1 versus 15 tier 1 that's mixed up, plus a couple falcons. You know, Blue Coon's going to need more than just this standing army here, trying to sneak out a couple farms. Both the players are, really. Yeah, I feel like Blue Coon's going to need a little bit more, maybe a couple toads in there or something. I don't think this army from Blue Coon is going to be able to stop King James himself. Season 4 champion, Season 3 champion. Moving in again, trying to get whatever value he can. Going to go for this Warren, but I think that means these lizards are going to die in the process. Ooh, yeah, that's rough. He decided against committing on the Warren to save his lizards, but he ended up losing almost all of them anyways, so it would have been better to just finish that Squirrel Warren off, I think. James getting rid of the lizards completely and going to try to turtle a bit with the balloon. I actually would have liked to see the balloon out just like maybe on this ledge. That way it could defend like a possible third base. This balloon here is going to make them nice and tight, but it's not going to defend any additional expansions. And what does Blue Coon want to do about this balloon? A good answer to balloons is just an overwhelming amount of cheap units like tier 1. Man, I did not think this game would still be going on. Crazy match here. Do a little fast forwarding while these guys are just building back up. Blue Coon scratching his head and deciding whether or not he wants to attack into that balloon. Actually, you know what? I like this a lot from James. Now that I look at the map. And if the reason James put the balloon there is because Blue Coon doesn't have a third base, then he's a genius. Like, that is such a smart move. Because there's no way that Blue Coon can take any of these Gristmills on this side of the map. And James doesn't really have to either, as weird as that sounds. Like, he can just keep building army, and Blue Coon's eventually going to starve out here. Or even if he doesn't starve out, you know, quickly, he's not going to have access to enough money to keep up with James. You know, James could just easily take the space up top, you know, maybe build one more balloon. But yeah, I like this from James a lot. Like, just turtle up with a couple balloons and run out the clock. Make Blue Coon have to figure something out to win this game. Wants to come over here and pick up this campfire, but also trying to bait James out, thinking he can take a better engagement as long as he's not fighting under that balloon. Yeah, James is not going to take that risk at the moment and gets that campfire. And Blue actually trying to grab this gristmill. If he does, then this strategy from James is going to come toppling down. The one lizard run by. Get him. The brave lizard. Oh, is he actually going to live? Makes it out of there. Ooh, alright, so Blue Coon says, I don't think so, man. Grabs his own third base. And now he's the one that's going to start pulling ahead in economy. And just making a ton of squirrels is going to work great for him. I mean, if James could afford a fox, then that would, you know, this amount of squirrels would start to backfire because the fox would just start picking them off and over and over and over. But there's no way James has enough money for a tier 3, even investing in a second balloon. But I don't think this turtle balloon style is going to work anymore now that Blue Coon has taken the third base. I feel like this was kind of, you know, based on the fact that he had access to more gristmills than his opponent. And yeah, decides against that second balloon. Going to go for some snakes instead. I think that's smart. The snakes are kind of like the budget fox, you know, can serve that same purpose of kind of coming in, poking, getting some value, rinsing and repeating. Yeah, this is rough for both players. Yeah, James now going to take that third. Blue does have the chameleon, so you can try to move him over there and take that out. But a big engagement coming up. The balloon is helping a little bit. Does kill that chameleon, but so many squirrels from Blue Coon just smashing forward. Gonna get that balloon as well. James taps out. And Blue Coon takes the map. All right, everybody. I'm going to take a quick, like, 1 minute break. But before I do that, we do have some announcements here. I updated the Tooth and Tail events section underneath the stream you're watching right now. So definitely check that out if you haven't. We've got the Gentleman's 21 Generals tournament coming up, Season 5 of the Gentle Tourneys. And we are doing leader nomination tournament. So basically that's going to be like all the players are split up into 3 factions. One of the leaders of the factions is going to be James, since he won last season. And the other 2 we're going to determine next weekend on Saturday and Sunday. I'll be streaming one day. Woody Pun 7, a.k.a. Tosh, will be streaming the other day. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Next Thursday night, the gentleman and I are going to stream a little bit, probably at 6 p.m., same time this stream started today. And we're going to discuss the rules. The rules are pretty complicated. So they're posted in the 21 Generals Discord if you want to take a look at them. But I figured it would be fun to kind of discuss the rules together and have a VOD of that if anyone's got questions. And also, I'm going to start doing weekly Tooth and Tail content again. We're going to do Friday night feasts, I've decided. Go for a couple hours, 1 night a week, doing replays for the foreseeable future. So we're back on a schedule. It's going to be the same time this show started tonight, every Friday night. Send me replays at ToothAndTailTV at gmail.com. I cannot do the show. This is an audience participation show. I cannot do it without your help, guys. So I love this game. I want to get back into playing it and casting it and doing events and stuff and helping the scene out again. But I do need your help. So get on the ladder. Send me some replays. Let's keep this amazing RTS going. And with that, I'm going to take a very quick restroom break. And we've got 6 more replays to go through tonight. So I will be back in about a minute. Okay, I am back. Let's keep it going. What's up, Dino? Good to see everybody in chat. Mr. Ziggy, Witty Pun. Saw Verdian Games earlier. Powelon. Good to see all y'all. 2020, the year of Tooth and Tail. Yes, let's do it. I'm down. I'm committing to. All right, so I don't want to like over commit to things while I'm excited about it, but I am committing to the once a week stream, and I also, just as like a personal thing, like I also want to commit to playing Tooth and Tail again, like at least for a couple hours a day or like an hour a day. I had a lot of fun when I played against James earlier, so I might stream some of that. I might not. I don't know. Anyways, let's get back into the action. Match number 7. All right, we've got a premium mode 2v2 here. In the bottom, we've got James and P-Boop. And to the right, we've got Kerpa and Augusta. I think this is fresh, too. I think this is a dank replay. I think they actually did this one today. I think I announced, like, less than 24 hours ago I was going to do the stream tonight. And Premium Bo, this is his 85th submission out of 90 episodes, so he's only missed a few. So he hopped on there and got me one. It's also his birthday today, so happy birthday, Premium Bo. Hope you have a good time. All right. Starting out with them lizards. And actually decides against it. Just a little bit of a fake out. Actually, James is going to go for the lizards. That's pretty funny. Ooh, have they seen the moles? So it's like you scout and then you see the lizards and you like fake them out, you know. They're like, oh, they're not actually doing it. And then the other player is. Ooh, this cheeky mole from Kerpa has gone unscouted. Ooh, Kerpa. Premium Bo sees it now. One mole's already here. That was kind of cool, putting the turret next to the cabin. Yeah, Kerpa realized the jig was up and sold him and went home. And a little bit of a lizard attack coming in, but so much barbed wire out of Augusta here. Oh, man. Why is that so funny to me? Like, he tried so hard, you know, like throwing down all this barbed wire. You're never going to get through here with the lizards, and then the lizards just ignore all of it and go kill one of his pigs. Oh, man. Anyways, skunk coming down for P-Boop. Nothing crazy just yet. A couple gristmills starting to pop out. Trying to get these expansions going as soon as possible. Both Premium Bo and James have some lizards here. I think they're a little bit overly paranoid with Kerpa's commander after seeing those original moles. And Augusta sells off those wire, but gets a fox. And James is trying to fox it up too. You know, the lizards do okay against the fox, but I'm not deterred enough by lizards. It's not one of the hard counters. Like the fox is an amazing unit, but it does have specific hard counters. And lizards aren't. I wouldn't go that far. Lizards have a fighting chance, you know, to punch up against the fox. But green and blue moving forward with a lot of tier 1 here. Pushing in some skunks here for Premium Bo, getting pretty low, but getting some good gas. Nice micro here from Premium Bo, keeping those skunks alive. A little bit of damage here happening to James. And good job keeping those skunks alive there. And not a bad attack. Like, it got cleaned up, but I feel like it got some damage done. It knocked out a Warren. I'm sorry, a Gristmill. Also, I think it took out a couple Warrens, got the farms, traded okay. But I think the big icing on the cake with that hold was the 2 skunks from Premium Bo staying up. All right, blue and green pushing in to try to deny that second base of their opponents. No second bases. Well, actually, I stand corrected. Green is actually both blue and green have barbed wire. That's pretty neat. And green grabbing this proxy base. I imagine Kerpa maybe takes this one. A couple lizard boys over here. James going to go for the hidden base. Foxes are almost out. Kerpa does also have a gristmill over here to the side. I don't believe that's been scouted yet by their opponents. It hasn't. A little bit of back and forth. Getting that campfire is always nice. Oh, nice pickup here from James. Does find this gristmill. Gonna be a little disappointed there's no pigs to go along with it, but hey, any value is good value. And both foxes are here. James is gonna get to the table a bit faster. However, the Kasha from Augusta is making her way up. And now we got a fox versus fox battle going on. The lizards are, oh man, that would have been crazy to control from James, but the lizards were coming from such an angle that they might have been able to get on that opponent, enemy Kasha. One shot going down on the fox, pushing yellow and red army back, blue and green. I'm sorry, I thought the fox went down. The pigeons here making a big difference for the fox. Oh yeah, that was a close one. This is looking good for blue and green, especially once that artillery, oh, nice pickup there on the opposing Kasha from James, but they can't let this artillery cannon get up. Blue and green pushing back with a lot of tier 1 here, a little bit of reinforcing falcons, and the clock's ticking on this artillery cannon. Premium Bow sadly has skunk pigeon, which cannot hurt the artillery cannon, can only tickle it. And the RD is up. It's going to reinforce this position very nicely. That thing's got such a crazy range that's going to push James's fox out from being able to poke in and just get free value. Oh, but here comes the boar. The boar is actually probably a good answer to deal with the artillery because it does so much bonus damage to structures and has so much HP. Nicely done, but meanwhile, Premium Bow with the backdoor attack. A lot of action going on in multiple spots. I guess it might be best to just zoom out. And blue and green are going to go for it, but Kerpa is about to get eliminated. Oh, but he's going to try to eliminate. No, wait, Premium Bow has a second gristmill. Man, if Premium Bow, if he targets that gristmill, he's only got three lizards that can actually deal damage to turrets. Meanwhile, green is coming up, gonna try to get onto yellow's face. James doesn't have a whole lot, but he does have 2 big beefy tier 3 units that are gonna be able to clean this army up no problem, but not before that base gets knocked out. That poison from the snake gonna be able to deal with this boar, but can he keep the falcon, or the fox alive rather? Premium Bow's army is just not a good one for base racing. Only those 3 lizards can actually deal any damage. Did the fox stay alive? It did. So we're back down to scraps this game. James is actually looking to be in the best position. God, I'm still not over Premium Bow coming in to like knock out these gristmills and then getting over there and just being like, crap, my units can't hurt structures. And now he's found a juicy spot to get in and deal some real damage to his opponent's armies. And this looks like red and yellow are going to be able to take it. Kerpa knows it, taps out. Augusta's not far behind, and GG. Wonder what it doesn't show that I'm streaming on Discord. Maybe I don't have my account linked to my thing. Whatever. I'm not worried about it. All right. Whoops. Wrong button. Okay. Let's keep it rolling. Match number 8. Spawning in the bottom left, we've got Augusta Bombs. And his opponent to the top right, Logo Man 96. Another one of the Season 4 21 Rooms finalists. Put up a good showing that tournament to be defeated by this guy on the final day. But I like Lego Man. I like both these decks a lot, actually. Of course, when you're running Fox in your deck, that's basically an auto. I like this deck from Delthius. But of course, the Wolf is really cool to see as well. And how is this match gonna play out? I like it better for Augusta, right? He's got what I like to call the castle here. Just 4 gristmills basically in a square position. That's always a really good spawn to have. Lego Man can go north to this 12 o'clock, and there's nothing like lizards or chameleons to really punish being a bit spread out. I'm actually really curious on both players' first gristmill expansion choice. You know, does Lego Man try to put his feet on the ground? Like, look how close these farms are to each other. Like, these pigs would practically be shooting each other. So for either player to really... Both players have the choice to make, like, the bold move and grab one of these forward gristmills. and try to deny, because imagine Lego Man gets one of these. It's going to be really rough for Goose to get one of those, and vice versa. Also, both players have the option to take the safer base if they choose to. So let's see what they decide there. So far, just a bunch of tier 1. Gonna get into a little bit of a squirrel battle, but situations like this, you want to be careful about attacking in when you're kind of mirrored, because the defender's advantage is pretty real. If you don't have any kind of real advantage over your opponent, you know, when you're mirrored like this, you know, if a Goose attacks in, the Lego Man is going to be at a bit of an advantage there. So I don't feel like either player just yet is really incentivized to attack in. Man, these guys are literally step by step keeping up with each other. The exact same build so far. We might get caught in a game of squirrel chicken, you know, which is right when you see your opponent builds a tier 2 or something, you just keep building squirrels and move in when you have an extra 6 or so. Alright, oh, look at that. I love it. Ugusa just finding that little cheeky squirrel just in the right spot to shoot at that Warren for free. But, you know, Lego Man, he's got a pulse. He's on it. Pushes him back, and there's that tier 2 Warren. So my question is, does Lego Man just continue to throw down tier 1 and move in and say, I'm going to have a squirrel advantage, and that's what it is? Not actually throwing down another Warren. Instead, he's going to save this money, I guess, to reinforce, or is he going to throw down another one now? No, he actually was fine with just picking up that Warren. You know, he picked that Warren up for free, comes home, and he's like, okay, we can play a tech game. Throws down 2 tier 2 Warrens. No second base yet from either player. So I feel like if you haven't taken a second base by like the 3-minute mark, you're starting to get committed into this one base strategy. And it looks like both players just putting the pedal to the metal. Full army. And Ugusa is going to move out while he's got the tier 2 advantage. Going to start getting some skunk gas down, which is going to be very effective against this heavy squirrel army. But Lego Man with a nice concave gets in and knocks out a bunch of his opponent's squirrels regardless. The tier 2 is here from Skunk. Good try. Or from Lego. Good try saving that skunk from Ugusa, but goes down. However, he did trade it out for a chameleon, so that's not so bad. And now Lego Man's getting his own tier 2 online. And that was a really good engagement from Lego Man. You know, he had a nice spread. He had a nice concave against his opponent. You know, positioning is just so important in TNT. And Ugusa might have, like, I understand why Ugusa pulled the trigger like that, because he wanted to attack in on this window where he had tier 2 and his opponent didn't, right? But I don't feel like the Skunks really got a chance to get as much gas clouds down as he liked. Here comes the Metal Gear Chameleon. Ooh, is it going to get caught? Oh, it gets caught! Oh, that's rough for Lego Man, but that's exactly what Ugusa needed to get back into this game. Lego Man is not here to micro his army. The beginning of that engagement goes very nicely for our long coat player. Skunk does get some good gas, but nice target fire from Ugusa. Knocks it out, but the Chameleon, this is the perfect environment for Chameleon. Little scrappy positions like this, and we're still on one base, no campfire, no nothing. So the clock's ticking now. We hit that 5-minute mark where our economies get cut in half, and the rest of these farms are going to begin to go fallow as well. Ugusa pushing forward. That Chameleon doing a good job tanking on the front line, but does go down. Nice pickup there. That's still so many squirrels. And I like that. I think this is really smart. We saw Blue Coon do this as well. It's not exactly what won him the game, but I think it's a good play for the most part. Like, downgrading to just massing squirrels, you know, in these tricky situations. But the Chameleons are almost an exception to that rule, because these are the situations where Chameleon really shines. So if you can get a pair of Chameleons out, you know, when we're in these kind of low number squirrel situations, and it's hard for me to even say low number though, to be honest, because Ugusa's gonna get up to 15 here shortly. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe sell off one, and there we go. Now we see a second base, but that might play into Lego Man winning this, because that's 60 less food Ugusa's got to reinforce an army. And you're going to need every single scrap you can get in situations like this. If Lego Man decides to keep going off one base, which is really just this last big push. But this is always a rough spot to be in for Logo Man because it's like, you've got to win with this right here, right now. Igusa setting up in his Warrens very nicely. Ooh, running back is almost never recommended in Tooth and Tail, but Logo Man manages to bait his opponent out of the safety of his Warrens, which was worth a couple squirrels going down on that retreat. He tried to save that chameleon, but didn't quite get the first one. However, the second chameleon plus these pigeons is just doing such a good job. Yeah, it's rough. And just that 60 food from that gristmill could have really made a difference in an army. In army value, rather. And maybe you sell off the pigeons here and grab... Oh, man, no. Lego Man's at 20... Okay, he built that gristmill at exactly 20 seconds. He needs to just end the game right now. I mean, maybe he could throw down a farm if he's lucky. It's going to come down to milliseconds throwing down that farm. But he's going to get the opponent's gristmill first with 4 seconds left on the clock. Yeah, I agree, Tosh. That was a really good bait from Lego. Because it's pretty well known in Tooth and Tail, retreating is just super rough. It's almost better to take a bad engagement where you lose it a little bit versus retreating, because then you're just losing so much more. So Lego Man kind of donated a few squirrels with that moving back. And then Augusta, since we all know how bad retreating is, he's like, oh, this is my chance to pounce in and get some free units. But what that actually did was draw him out of his Warrens, which led to Lego Man winning the engagement. It's a really cool game. That was so close. We have some really good ones tonight. All right, we've got another 2v2 here. 3 of them tonight. I did just want to get to them because they've been sitting in the bank for so long. So let's get into this one. Who do we got? We got Protocam and Tosh over here on the right, and we've got Kalaru and Dizon on the left. Kalaru, all right. Who gets my favorite deck? Okay. All right, it's got to go to Tosh. At first I like Kalaru's, but Wolf Fox. You had me at Wolf Fox. I don't even care what the rest of your deck is. Tosh, if you pull... You can't spoil it for me if you remember this game. But if you actually successfully pull off the Wolf Fox, then tip of the hat, sir. At first I got excited by Kalaru's deck because I saw Wolf Ferret, which is also really cool. It reminds me of Print F, a really well-known StarCraft player who was into the Tooth and Tail scene for a while. I gotta try to... Okay, so I don't want to get crazy. Like, I'm committing to laddering again. I want to play at least like an hour of Tooth and Tail a day, and become a good player again. Oh, but hold that thought. One lizard attack here from Kalaru. But I have to stop myself because I just love the casual nature of this game, like trying silly stuff. Like, I think for the first couple weeks, like trying to get really back into tryharding and playing regularly. I want to use good meta decks that are strong stuff, but I can't help myself but try out crazy nonsense. Like, I wonder if I can make the Print F deck work in the current meta. The Print F deck was something like Squirrel, Ferret, Fox, Wolf, Turret, Balloon, maybe? I'm not 100% on the Turret Balloon. I think he had the Turret. Maybe he had Lizards or something. But the core of it was the Ferret, Fox, Wolf combo, which was awesome. That's a lot of fun, man. Ferrets are a little bit of a underutilized. I don't know if underrated or I'm not sure. I gotta really get back into playing a lot again before I make big balance statements. But Ferret's a little underutilized. Let's just leave it at that. So, however, like a Wolf plus Ferrets is insane. Like if you get like 6 Ferrets out, which is a crazy amount of Ferrets to get in the first place, but if you can get that out with a Wolf, like it gets nuts. Oh yeah. Yeah, that went right over my head, dude. I didn't even think about that. Oh, that's funny. So I want to do some like stream improvements, get the quality up. I don't think there's a lot that needs to be done, like I don't want to clutter the stream screen with like followers and things like that. Like I think I'll get my follower alert going again, or like interfaces, you know what I mean? I think Tooth and Tail is just nice to look at without a whole bunch of UI overlays and stuff like that. Big lizard attack coming in from Kalaru. Gonna get some bacon, gonna pick up a couple Warrens too. Reinforcing here is Dizon. I kind of just yacked over the first couple minutes of this game, but didn't have a whole lot to say because it was a gentleman's agreement opening here. Everybody just like rushed up to 2 base economies essentially. Really, actually, I put that back. Big Pimpatosh rushed up to a 2 base economy, getting a little bit punished for it here, but I think they're gonna hold. And I think yellow and green are just fine. Like, Tosh only lost like a pig, a couple Warrens. To have a 2 base full economy at this point is massive. You're probably okay with make a couple sacrifices to get there. Oh yeah, follow alerts. I used to have it set up. I could show you sometime. I use Streamlabs. I do want to do the follower alerts or like donation and sub alerts and stuff again because it is important to give people that shout out. Kalaru coming in with the lizards down here. Getting a lot, actually. What, a farm, a Warren or two. And Dizon moving in against Tosh's army, but the economy for Tosh is really starting to kick in. So much to the point, I would love to see that Wolf Fox come down. Come on, man. Come on, Tosh. Come on, past Tosh. Don't let me down. No, more squirrels for the time being. In a 3rd base as well. Red, like, Kalaru is just all over the place with these lizards. Protocam does have the boar, so we can't get hyped about that tier 3 unit. But Tosh, you have so much money. Why do you do this to me, Tosh? Why do you get Wolf Fox and then get a crazy economy and then not build it? I feel like Emperor Palpatine at this point. Do it. Alright, Badger on the way for Kalaru. A couple balloons here to deter a direct engagement. But yellow and green don't care. They're moving in. They got some good toads. Those toads just slammed through Kalaru's lizards. And that is so many units. This is why he didn't build Wolf Fox. Because he wants to win. Look at all that tier 1 just crushing through his opponents. And that board just being backed up by so much here. And blue and red just got hammered there. Really, really good engagement. Just ends that game in like 30 seconds. Yeah, I'm on the fence about follower alerts. I don't know. Because not everybody wants to be, like, called out, you know. Like, sometimes I follow channels, and it's like, I don't want you to say anything. I don't know. It depends, I guess. Okay. Where were we? We're on match number 10. I saved a couple good ones for last year. We got some strong players in matches 10, 11, and 12. I know, man. You teased me. That was not good. You got Wolf Fox in your deck. You got 16 farm economy. And you don't build it. You bastard. Alright, match number 10, guys. But it was the correct play, all joking aside, in that game. I do agree with the decision to just build more tier 1 there. And in the bottom, we've got Onyx. Old school name. And up top, Big Pimpatosh. Both players with Squirrel Toad. Onyx going for a really heavy mid-game comp, in my opinion. You know, doesn't have that, like, Falcon kind of unit to try to scale up later. I guess Snakes can scale pretty well. And I think this is a pretty standard Tosh deck. I could be wrong, but I think I've seen you running this kind of setup a decent amount. But I like Onyx's deck. I wonder what his thought process is around the turrets, because I can... The turrets are like a little weak right now, but not, you know, unplayable or anything. But in my opinion, when I'm thinking about turrets, I want to do one or two things. I either want to use them to Well, actually, three things. I feel like you could use turrets to deter your opponent from attacking in if you're trying to get a 1 base tier 3 up, like a fox or a badger or even a boar. You can use turrets to deter your opponent from attacking you to power up on like 2 or 3 bases. Or you can use turrets to try to contain an opponent or have a safe retreating spot for things like ferrets and foxes. And I don't see Onyx really going any of those routes here with these turrets. So I'm curious why he wants them. Maybe for the contain? Because he's got a really mid-game bruising composition. You know, Onyx wants to get up to his snakes and skunks and a lot of tier 1 and push in for the win. Both players with an 8-farm snake warren opening here. And Tosh is going hard on all these tier 2. Up to 4 snakes and a couple chameleons. This is going to be a crazy game once this micro starts happening. If you're tuning in and haven't played in a while or kept up with the scene, the snakes nowadays do slow their opponents. So once one of those snake tags hits an enemy unit, then you can rest assured, as long as you continue chasing it, that you are going to finish it off. Onyx isn't going crazy with tier 2. Building up a lot of tier 1, so it looks like he just wants to hit a timing. But Tosh is not doing any... Well, okay. I stand corrected. I was going to say he's not doing anything greedy, but Tosh is being quite a silly person here. No tier 1 at all. Pocket base. 3 tier 2. I love it. I love it. It's silly. 4 snakes coming in. Gonna start getting them deeps down. Loses a couple snakes. Oh, that toad. Oh, man, that hero chameleon smacked that toad down right before it was about to pop on everything. But, man, both these armies getting hammered here. But it looks like maybe Onyx... I don't know. Like, I don't know. Yeah, both armies. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Onyx wound up a bit better out of that. And I think so, too, because just how many tier 2 Tosh had. Like, it's easier for Onyx to reinforce than it is for Tosh, because the tier 1 units are cheaper and build so much faster. And this is a really aggressive follow-up here. Oh, yeah, see, he took this Gristmill, he sold off the snake, so that means I don't want to wait around for 2 more snakes. I want to go right now. And this is probably why he has turrets. Oh, I'm actually a little bit surprised he put it... I was thinking he was going to maybe put it on the front line and, like, push in. Because if he wants to farm up, then selling the tier 2 isn't... well, actually, I guess that does make sense. I was going to say, if you want to take the game longer, then you want that higher tech unit. But at the same time, that's just me thinking too greedy. I think Onyx is like, I want to keep pressure on, I want to keep my economy going, therefore I got to give something up, and I'm going to give up that higher tech army. But now that Tosh is the only one with these Venom boys here, he really bullied his opponent that time. That was a really good engagement for him. As long as he can keep these snakes alive, he does have the pigeons. Getting the poison on the turret. The turret barely lives, but does eventually go down. Nice toad connects there. Oh man, I can smell my dinner. Casey's in there cooking sloppy joes. It's gonna be so good. Not a big commitment. Now this is kind of cool too. Like Onyx probably thinks he's in a better spot than he is eco-wise, because he's unaware of that pocket base. Pushing forward, but can Tosh defend? If Tosh can just keep defending, the additional economy should start kicking in. A couple snakes go down here, but one stays alive. It's going to pick off the retreating units. And yeah, this is looking good for Tosh. He's got more farms. He's got a higher tech army. He's doing a good job of just having like such small amounts of tier 1. And he's also like really constantly swapping out what his comp is. Selling warrens, rebuilding this warren, going crazy tier 2, you know, dropping down to tier 2, etc. Yeah, that one chameleon tanking all those toads like a champ. Tosh even got that re-stealth. But once he started microing these snakes, the chameleon did come back out. Ooh, man, this is so close. Like, every time Onyx pushes in, he just barely doesn't have enough to break Tosh's back. He did get a Chameleon Warren, though. Actually, that time was some decent damage for Onyx, I feel, because he did get some Warrens down, which starts to become a problem. And Tosh actually just going to go ahead and commit to more and more Tier 1. I think that makes sense. Onyx just looking to get some good toe connections. Not on the Chameleon like that. Nice job from Tosh keeping that alive. That's a ton of value. Gonna do it again, just soaking all these Toad hits. Really great Chameleon control here. Man, that was dope. Like, I don't think I'm giving Tosh too much credit, but I think you're in the chat, but I think that was intentional, right? Like, moving the Chameleon out right here so the Toads would hit it, and then you get that alert, you know, that your units are under attack, and then you just immediately pull the Chameleon back. So you don't even have to be on the same screen. Like, Commander can be over here, Chameleon's there. That was a good little play. And this is it. I think Tosh weathered the storm. Onyx just doesn't have a whole lot left, trying to hold on and re-get an economy up and build a turret, but too little too late. Tosh comes in and takes it. Yes, Kappa. I didn't just accidentally leave the Chameleon there. See, I tend to... I'm aware. I tend to give players too much credit sometimes. If I end up giving you too much credit, just take it. It's fine. It's fine. All right. A couple more for y'all, and then I'm going to get me a BFB, a big fat belly. Let's do it. Match number 11. We've got the Gentleman in the south versus James in the north. The Gentleman actually just running Squirrel Pigeon here. Pretty interesting. Typically we see, you know, forget about Pigeon. Like, Pigeon's just kind of optional. Think about it that way. But typically you get Squirrel plus one other Tier 1 besides a Pigeon. So Squirrel Mole, Squirrel Lizard, Squirrel Toad. So going just Squirrel is kind of neat. I think the Gentleman can back that up, though, with the Mines and with those powerful Tier 2 units like the Snake and Skunk. James does have Lizards, which I feel like do a good job against both Skunks and Snakes. The Swift unit really helps stop the Snakes from just being oppressive and coming in and, you know, poking a couple times, run away, rinse and repeat. Lizards can actually catch up with the Snakes if they try to do that, knock them out. And similarly, in a big, like, Squirrel Skunk push against Squizzard, the Lizards can get on top of those Skunks pretty quickly and knock them out with some good target fire. So I like that utility of the Lizards. I actually think the Lizards on the new patch are in a decent spot. You know, they still have some hard counters that are popular in the meta. Like, it's one thing if the hard counter, like the Fox, for example, you can say Balloon hard counters Fox, right? But the Balloon's not exactly popular, so that's one thing. But when you've got counters in the Lizards case, like Moles and Chameleons, which are very popular, I think that's what holds it back. And Toads, you know, but I think more so Moles and Chameleons holds it back just slightly. But the Lizards are going to be phenomenal in this kind of situation. This big open map, there's plenty of ways these Lizards can get in. I think Lizards are just fun to play with. I actually like doing this opening. I didn't realize James is doing it now. But this is something I want to practice more as a stylistic opening. Ooh, coming in on these Squirrels. Actually working out for him. Gonna target down that Warren rather than try to jump on the Pigs. And is even gonna go for the other Squirrel. Gonna get out with one Lizard, but that was a nice trade for him. But opening up, it's a little bit map dependent because you want to make sure it's a map where there's multiple attack paths like this one. But opening up like 8 farm, double, but you go Lizards and then into a second base. So it's like you're macroing, but you've got 6 Lizards to run around and wreak havoc with and keep your opponent on their side of the map, you know, in the process. I think that kind of opening is a lot of fun and can be pretty powerful. So Gentleman is going super crazy on his economy here. Is James aware? No, yeah, James is aware. And he's using these mines to kind of buffer against the lizards. He is going crazy with these mines, but his economy can afford it since he's basically on full second base sat. Meanwhile, James isn't lagging behind on the economy. Nice pick off on that mine there. Gets all the lizards out. And I also like that he's not overcommitting. Like, I think 6 is a very magic number of lizards. Because then you're not overcommitting in the case your opponent does have one of those counters, like the moles, the chameleons, the toads. You didn't overcommit. And 6 is a good number. Like, 6 lizards can get in here and knock out several of these pigs before they eventually get gunned down, for example. And Gentleman's really exposed on this right side. I'm surprised we haven't seen James try to get in there yet. Gonna trigger this minefield and poke in on the side. Try to get that Warren. Ooh, that mine taking out the rest of them. How many mines was that? That was kind of an okay trade, I suppose. I think it was a little better for Gent, but not by a lot. Yeah, now the Gentleman is picking up what I'm putting down. Putting a few mines over here, because that's such a nice... Now, the reason we haven't seen James... Ooh, that mine got some good value there. But I think the reason we haven't seen James try to come in and hit this sweet underbelly of the Gentleman's base is because it would put his commander like super far out of position. You know, if you're Gent, then you can basically just A move up this way because your pigs are going to take some hits, but by the time you get over there, it's going to be too late, and the pigs will eventually clean up 6 lizards. That's not enough to threaten taking out the entire gristmill. But the boar is on the way for James and the owl on the way for Gent. Has either of these players scouted their opponent's tier 3? Doesn't look like it, but Gent's going to come in and get the scout now. Actually does it. I think he was worried about those lizards coming in and attacking. And no tier 3 scout for James either. Let me make sure, yeah. So neither player knows about that. And one thing I didn't even really notice until just now, because there's been so much to talk about this game, is that James is a little bit screwed on the map. He doesn't have a third base to go into. So he's going to have to push out with the boar. And I like the boar against the owl. I think I'd rather have the boar in that scenario. It's going to melt through those mice pretty quickly. And the owl is just going to be a big floating tank, you know, once it can't generate the mice. And the boar is here, so this is the big timing from James. He's got to strike now and either end the game or do a lot of damage because he does not have access to more money in this game. And since he's only got a couple lizards left, doing a bit of minesweeping with the lizards would be good. But now, Gentleman's got to deal with his boar, and I just don't think he's got the army composition to be able to. He does have some snakes, but are they going to be able to get in and get the targets down? Yeah. 4 stacks of poison on the boar. The boar is going to get poisoned down, I think. It will go down, but it did a ton of damage this engagement. But can the Gentleman hold on? He's got his own owl. It looks like he is. Wow. I thought James was going to win that engagement. With some good control there by the Gentleman, some decent target fire, he manages to hold on. And now, I think James's days are numbered. You know, he can't contest his army. He can't continue the game because he doesn't have a third base. He doesn't have the time to try to do something crazy like a lizard tech switch. Well, I said he can't contest the army, but these Falcons gunning down that owl. James is moving forward. He doesn't really have a whole lot of choice here. He doesn't like have enough units where you'd really want to move forward here, but he just doesn't have a choice. He's got no more economy. And he knows that the Gentleman's got this juicy third base. He knows he's got that tier 3 unit. So I think that was kind of his one last hurrah. And no, he is going to stick it out for maybe one more engagement. I'd love to see him just go for the classic lizard switch. I don't think the Gent's going to give him that much time, but like sell everything, build a bunch of lizard warrens over here, and just try to come in. He probably just doesn't think he's as behind as he is on army. This is, you know, he's holding down. These engagements are better for the Gentleman. Oh, a little bit too far forward with the owl. It is a good idea. As weird as it sounds, like bring the owl to the front, let it tank some hits. That way, you know, it's taking damage that your other units aren't. But he was a little bit greedy with it there. And now, oh my god. Can James actually come back? He's picking up a couple free extra pigeons. Gonna trigger that mine, maybe go home? Alright, he's got to sell some warrants here and just try. I think we've seen that a lot tonight, where people have been really good on selling warrants and just trying to rebuild that tier 1 in situations like this. Man, James might be coming back here. Let's see it. Gent doesn't have a whole lot. He even committed to that additional owl. James just testing the water with these lizards, waiting for the skunk. Yeah, all the Gent's got left from that last engagement. You know, when James' army moved in, like, Gent did win the battle, but maybe James won the war just from how many pigs went down, how many warrens went down. The second owl is here. And it looks like it is going to make the difference that Gent needed. And now James is going to tap out. Really close game. I think James, like, look at that graph, you know. I think James fought really well for how behind he was in a lot of spots. No, almost losing my voice. Not used to talking this much again. Okay, we've got one more match for you. Yeah, we'll do the match and then I'll do advertisements again after that. Sometimes I like to do my little advertisements again. That way everybody's still here waiting on the last match, you know, but it's fine. In the right, we've got James. And up top, this guy. I really like both these decks. Like, my brain tells me that this guy's deck is better, but my heart tells me James's is better, you know? I love the units like the Chameleons and Fox and Balloon. But it's hard to argue with the results we've seen from the style this guy's bringing to the table. So, I'm interested how this was going to go down. This guy's got a lovely little 2-base fort, or double high ground fort. I wonder if you're this guy, because I see you in the chat. Like, are you tempted at all with this spawn to go for a 1-base tier 3? Because this just seems like a really good spawn to do it on. Like, I know that's not normally your playstyle, but you've also got to, like, consider the map too. With what you're doing. You know, you got the double high ground, you got the moat. Maybe I'm overvaluing it because it's not as good as it looks, since there's a nice little mole here from this guy. Let's see if James sees it. But, you know, James can just move his army over here like this, which does kind of counter that double high ground moat's little defense here. Yeah, I'd go for a tier 3 on double high ground, surrounded by water. Good. Okay. Just making sure. Making sure I'm thinking about that right. I mean, you're doing something else here, which is fine. I think you're trying to punish James for the early gristmill. But James is responding to it well. I wouldn't be surprised to see this guy go home here. But this is a little bit of an awkward spot for this guy. Because if you sell these moles, there's going to be a spot where this guy doesn't have a whole lot of units, so then James can just move in. Yeah, so this guy's going to commit in. These moles doing their jobs, smashing these warrens, going to pick one up. But overall, I think that was a good fight for James. And yeah, this is the moment I'm worried about here. Because you got to sell those moles off regardless of what happens after the fact, unless you just win the game off it. And now there's this window for James to come in where you don't have a whole lot. So this guy's got to micro his ass off here. He can't lose a single squirrel, and yeah, James is going to back up. He knows enough warrens are there. He knows the defender's advantage is going to kick in. But I think James might have backed off a little too early. I think he could have pushed the issue a bit more and maybe tried to come up here and snipe that pig on the corner. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's another thing too, like casting the replays. Sometimes it's easy to overanalyze. Like, not everything's that deep. Maybe you're just on having fun, you know, not thinking too hard about it, about every single decision. But it's still fun to speculate. I like the spot James is in. Having that gristmill plus the 1 farm, that's a nice little advantage. I'm curious if this guy is going to try to match suit or just go for it. Looks like he wants to just go for it and take a fight where he's where he's got a little bit more money in the army. Taking this gristmill here, classic tank gristmill move. You're not really going to try to build farms on this. You're just going to hope that some of the shots from his opponent's army wind up on that gristmill, tank a little damage. Nice micro with the skunk, keeping it alive. Very good micro with that skunk, actually. And that gristmill worth its weight in gold. It took a ton of damage that fight. Yeah, that was some really impressive micro. With that skunk, the chameleons went down for James, so this is not looking good for him. The toads, though, get a good connection, but nice spread on this skunk gas here. And this guy's got just enough units. This is where having those 3 pigeons just really shines. Keeping this army healthy on the front line. That chameleon, oh my god, this guy signed my mousepad, dude. Keeping that skunk alive again. One of the skunks did fall, but still really good control there from this guy. Continuing to push forward. I don't know if James... Oh, man. That toad almost detonates, but is denied. Chameleon does get away this time. And this guy looks like he's just got barely enough to keep the push going. He's going to back up for now. Reinforce, let these pigeons get their heal on. And moving in for the win. Let's see if he can make it happen. One chameleon drops that skunk again. Very good control, bringing it back at the last minute. Only 1 skunk died that game, I think. Very nicely. Very nice display of micro, sir. All right, that is it for the feast number 90. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for sending replays, for watching the VOD on Twitch or YouTube. And, yeah, a few more announcements before we go, just to reiterate if somebody maybe tuned in halfway through or something. We've got a lot coming up in Tooth and Tail in the near future. In order, I should start by saying I am back doing weekly scheduled content, and I've decided on Friday nights, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., just like tonight, for the show. I can't do the show without the support of the community, though, so please send replays to ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. And that way I have some ammo for the shows. Hop on that ladder and get some fresh stank replays. The next thing in chronological order is next Thursday night at 6 p.m. So I'll be back next Thursday, and the gentleman and I are just going to kind of sit down and have a coffee and chat kind of thing, and go over the rules and details of 21 Generals. And I'm just going to ask him a bunch of questions, and we're hoping that VOD will just be a good resource for people getting involved in 21 Generals, because these events that the gentleman puts on are really cool. They're almost like amateur board games, if you ever play like Red Dragon Inn or something. He puts a lot of effort into the rules, makes it really interesting and unique. But there's a lot to it. So, there's 11 pages of a Google Doc to go through. So we're hoping to digest that next Thursday at 6 p.m., same time as the stream tonight, just a day before. And then Friday, next Friday, I'll be doing another feast, since we're doing that every Friday night now. And then Saturday and Sunday, we have tournaments. Tosh and I got to decide who's doing what. But either Saturday or Sunday, the tournament will be on my channel here, and then the other day, it's going to be on Witty Pun 7's. What game? Red Dragon Inn, man. Red Dragon Inn's super fun. If you guys need like a board game for your buddies, maybe with a couple beers or something, highly recommend Red Dragon Inn. But yeah, so I'm rambling now, but and then after that, the 21 Generals tournament is going to start, which is going to take place through January and February. We're going to be having weekly content both on my channel and on Witty Puns. Going to be lots and lots of matches. So Tooth and Tail events are pretty packed for the next couple months. I'm really hyped about that. And that's it, everybody. I hope you had fun tonight. I sure did. Thanks again for tuning in. Sign up for that tournament. Send me replays. Keep laddering. You're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And that's it. I'm gonna go get me some sloppy joes. See you, everybody.